Who would have thought that it would take the power of thunder to get the bad taste of iron out of my mouth? Hello again, the reviewer, Brian here at 3TR, and I have a movie review, which I actually haven't done a new one in quite some time. And this time I'll be reviewing the newest installment in the Marvel Second Phase films titled Thor: The Dark World. Now, in terms of overall narrative, this takes place about, I want to say, maybe about 2 years after the events of the Avengers, in which Thor has really been traveling to all the 9 realms, bringing peace to them since the incident that happened in the original Thor film. While Natalie Portman's character of Jane Foster has really just been on Earth, kind of just doing some studying. And after a quick little narration from the beginning of the film, kind of telling us the exact history of these Dark Elves, which want to gain control of this somewhat powerful rock, which apparently can then put all the worlds into darkness, and then somehow it winds up on Earth, or is put there on Earth, and Jane actually finds it, it goes into her body, and now Thor has to take her to Asgard in order to find some way to get it out, and it is at that point that the Dark Elves come out of hibernation and attack Asgard, and now Thor now has to team up with Loki in order to combat this threat that even Odin himself seems unprepared to be able to counter. Now, I have to tell you guys this right now. Up until a certain point, I really haven't been all that impressed with Marvel's line of films. I really wasn't a fan of Avengers, and I really didn't like Iron Man 3 all that much, and I absolutely hated, just hated the first Thor film. But, so going into this, you have to understand, I was a bit skeptical. But I'm happy to say that although Marvel hasn't quite won me over quite yet, they are definitely moving in the right direction, because I actually really did enjoy Thor a lot more than I thought I would. In terms of the casting, everyone really comes back. Chris Hemsworth does a really great job as Thor. Natalie Portman does Jane Foster pretty well. Anthony Hopkins does Odin. But clearly the person who steals the show, and apparently looks like there's a good chance he might even get his own movie, is Tom Hiddleston's performances as Loki. And I have to say, I'll be honest, this was really why I actually enjoyed Thor a lot, because it managed to do something that Iron Man 3 had completely failed at. My biggest problem with Iron Man 3 was I simply wanted to take everything that I didn't like about Iron Man 2, or just keep it at a minimum, as opposed to this one, it was a complete 180. Everything that I really didn't like about Thor, they either turned it around and fixed it, or they simply improved on it. And Loki was one of those things. I wasn't a fan of Loki in the first Thor, and I damn sure was not a fan of Loki in the Avengers, but for some reason, I don't know, for some crazy reason, he worked in this film, and he had all the best scenes. There's even a scene where he's walking with Thor, and he's using his ability to change shapes, and it's such a hilarious scene, and I think that's like my favorite scene in the whole film. And it's really nice to see the dynamic between Thor and Loki play out. They have a lot of great scenes, and especially on Loki's part, you start to feel a little bit sympathy for the guy. You kind of understand that I don't really think he's much of a villain. I think he kind of is in a shade of gray. He feels that he is owed to be, he wants to be great, but you can definitely see scenes in this movie where he definitely feels a lot like a human. Like, there's a certain death that happens in the movie, and although he tries to hide it, you definitely can see that he is upset and he's saddened by it. And it's moments like that that really won me over with the Loki character. Now, to go into the action is pretty solid. I wouldn't say that there was anything in this particular film that really impressed me in a whole. I have seen better action films and comic movies like this. The overall look of the film is great, and the story pacing was definitely on par, and it was clearly better than I would say the last 3 Marvel films have come out. However, one big problem I had with this film that I think a lot of people have acknowledged from other reviews I've seen is that I really was not a big fan of the main villain, Malakin. He seemed to be a bit like, he seemed to be the type of villain that you want to put for like a TV series, not for like a big budget film like this. They really should have spent more time to establish his character and really maybe not sympathize with him, but definitely try to get what his angle is. Apparently his whole thing is that he had to like completely almost commit total genocide on his whole elven group, and now he wants revenge, and he simply wants to continue what he was doing prior to that. And I'm just not buying his motivation. I wanted more from his character, and he's just a bit generic, which is unfortunate. Not as bad as Mandarin in Iron Man 3, but just this movie deserved someone better. That's all I'm saying. As you can tell, I actually quite enjoyed Thor 2. There's definitely a number of problems that did carry on from the first film into this one, but they're mostly kept at a minimum. And even the action, the acting, and especially Loki really did win me over. So although I still need maybe another movie or two from Marvel for me to be completely on board, they definitely are heading in the right direction, and I'm more than happy to give Thor: The Dark World a B+. Definitely check this out if you're a fan of this series, and if you hated Thor 1 like I did, certainly check this out, because by the end it certainly will win you over and, I don't know, at least put you on the right track towards these movies. If you like this movie review, please feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to track me in my future movie and video game reviews. And you can also press one of the links in the description down below to follow me on Twitter or friend me on Facebook, and I will be sure to follow and friend you back. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.